AITA for panicking after my husband disappeared on his day off. Hey Reddit, I'm Samantha, and I need to get this off my chest. It's been a whirlwind of emotions today, and I feel like I'm spiraling. I'm 32, married to Mike, who's 34, and we've been together for 5 years. Our relationship has always been built on trust and communication, or at least I thought it was. Today, however, has shaken that foundation to its core. This morning started out like any other. I woke up to the sound of the alarm blaring, the sunlight streaming through our bedroom window. Mike was still asleep, his face peaceful and relaxed. I love those quiet moments. I crept out of bed, careful not to wake him, and made my way to the kitchen. I prepared his favorite turkey sandwich for lunch, putting extra mustard just the way he likes it. I wanted to send him off with something special. When Mike finally stirred, he got ready for work without a hitch. He kissed me goodbye, and I watched him leave, feeling content. Little did I know that this would be the last moment of normalcy I would experience today. Hours later, I was at home, enjoying my day off, when my phone rang. It was Mike's boss. My heart sank when I answered, expecting the usual small talk. Instead, he dropped a bombshell. Mike had been taking every Thursday off for weeks. My mind went blank. What? I felt my heart race as I struggled to process the information. Excuse me? What do you mean he's been taking Thursdays off? I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. Yeah, he hasn't been in on those days. I thought he told you, his boss replied, sounding a bit concerned. No, he didn't mention anything about that. Are you sure? Panic began to set in. I could feel my palms sweating as my thoughts spiraled into chaos. Why would Mike lie about something so simple? As soon as I hung up, I tried calling Mike. His phone went straight to voicemail. My anxiety skyrocketed. I paced around our living room, feeling a mix of anger and fear. Where could he be? Why would he pretend to go to work? Images of him being in trouble flashed through my mind. What if he was in an accident? Or worse, what if he was having an affair? My imagination was running wild, and I couldn't control it. I tried to calm myself down, telling myself that maybe he just lost track of time or was caught up in something. But deep down, a gnawing fear told me otherwise. Part of me wanted to respect his privacy and wait for him to explain, but the other part was screaming at me to take action. I considered calling his friends or even the police. What if something bad had happened? I was a bundle of nerves, feeling trapped in a whirlwind of emotions. The clock ticked slowly, each second feeling like an eternity. I couldn't just sit here. I grabbed my phone again and texted his best friend, Jake. Have you seen Mike today? His boss just called and he's not at work. I hit send and waited, my heart racing. Jake replied quickly, No, I haven't seen him. Is everything okay? I couldn't help but feel a stab of frustration. I don't know. He's not answering his phone and I'm freaking out. I paced back and forth, my mind racing. I felt like I was losing control. The house felt too quiet, too empty. I needed answers, but all I had were questions. Just as I was about to consider making that call to the police, I heard the front door open. Mike walked in, looking surprised to see me standing there, arms crossed and a look of concern etched across my face. Hey, what's wrong? He asked, his tone casual, but I could see the hint of confusion in his eyes. Where have you been? I demanded, trying to keep my voice steady but failing miserably. Your boss called and said you've been taking every Thursday off. Why didn't you tell me? He hesitated, his expression shifting from confusion to something more guarded. I didn't think it was a big deal, he replied, avoiding my gaze. I felt my frustration boil over. Not a big deal? You lied to me about going to work. What's going on, Mike? He sighed, running a hand through his hair, a gesture I recognized as his way of deflecting. I didn't lie. I just didn't mention it. I visit my brother every month. He's in prison, and I didn't want to make it a big deal. My heart sank as the pieces started to fall into place. So you've been skipping work to visit your brother? Why didn't you tell me? I was embarrassed, he admitted, looking down at the floor. I didn't want you to think less of me because of my family situation. The tension in the room was palpable. I felt a mix of anger and sadness. Mike, this isn't just about your brother. It's about you lying to me. I thought we were supposed to be honest with each other. His silence was deafening. I could see the regret in his eyes, but it didn't soften the blow of his deception. I wanted to forgive him, but the hurt was too fresh. I don't know. If I can just brush this off, Mike, I said, my voice shaky. As he stood there, the distance between us felt insurmountable. I wanted to reach out, to comfort him, but I was still reeling from the betrayal. I didn't want to be angry, but I couldn't help it. The fear of losing him to secrets felt overwhelming, and I wasn't ready to forgive yet. Maybe I need some time to think, I finally said, my voice barely above a whisper. I turned away, not wanting him to see the tears welling in my eyes. As he walked away, I felt the weight of uncertainty settle in my chest. How could this happen? How could someone I trusted betray me like this? I was left standing alone in the living room, grappling with a storm of emotions, unsure of what the future held for us. The next few days were a blur of confusion and frustration. I couldn't shake the feeling of betrayal that lingered in the air between Mike and me. After our confrontation, I had retreated into myself, needing space to process everything. Mike tried to reach out, but I kept my distance, unsure of how to address the multitude of emotions swirling within me. I went through the motions of daily life, work, chores, and pretending everything was fine. But inside, I felt like I was crumbling. Each time my phone buzzed, my heart would skip a beat, hoping it would be Mike. Yet, when it was just another notification, I felt a wave of disappointment wash over me. Finally, one evening, I found myself sitting on the couch, staring blankly at the television. The silence in the house was deafening. I couldn't ignore it any longer. I needed to know why Mike had felt the need to hide such a significant part of his life from me. With a deep breath, I picked up my phone and texted Mike. "Can we talk?" I hit send, my heart racing. Almost immediately, my phone rang. It was him. "Hey," he said, his voice tentative. "Can you come home early? I really need to talk to you," I replied, trying to keep my tone neutral. "Of course. I'll be there in 20, he responded, relief evident in his voice. As I waited for him to arrive, I felt a mix of anxiety and anticipation. Part of me wanted to yell and scream, but another part desperately wanted to understand. When he walked through the door, I noticed the tension in his shoulders. He seemed just as apprehensive as I felt. "Sit down," I said, gesturing to the couch. He complied, his eyes searching mine for clues about what I was feeling. "I've been doing a lot of thinking," I started, trying to find the right words. "I need to understand why you didn't tell me about your brother. Why did you feel you had to hide it?" Mike looked down, his hands fidgeting in his lap. "I didn't want to burden you with my family's issues. I thought you'd see me differently, like I was some kind of failure because of my brother's situation." "Mike, you're not a failure. Everyone has family problems. We've been through tough times together, and I thought we were supposed to face these things as a team," I replied, my voice rising slightly. "I know, and I'm sorry. It was stupid of me to think I could handle it alone. I just didn't want to drag you into it," he admitted, his eyes finally meeting mine. "By lying to me, you pushed me away instead. I felt scared and alone. I thought you were hiding something. Worse," I confessed, my voice trembling. "I felt like I didn't even know you. I promise I never wanted to hurt you," he said, his voice thick with emotion. "I just didn't know how to share this part of my life. I thought if I kept it separate, it wouldn't affect us. But I see now how wrong I was." His sincerity tugged at my heart, but it was hard to let go of the hurt. "I want to support you, but I need to know you'll be honest with me from now on. I can't go through this again," I said, tears welling in my eyes. Mike nodded, his expression earnest. "I will, I swear. No more secrets. I promise to be open about everything, even if it's uncomfortable." As we talked more, I realized how important it was for both of us to rebuild that trust. But the road ahead felt daunting. I wanted to forgive him, but the fear of being hurt again loomed large. "I just don't know how to move past this yet," I admitted, wiping away a tear that had escaped. "It's going to take time. I understand. I'll do whatever it takes to show you that I'm committed to making this right," he replied, his voice filled with determination. It was a step forward, but I still felt a nagging doubt. Would he really change? Or would this be a cycle of secrecy and mistrust? I wanted to believe in the best of him, but the memory of his deceit was fresh, and it haunted me. After our conversation, the atmosphere in the house shifted slightly. We began to communicate more openly, but the tension lingered like an uninvited guest. I couldn't shake the feeling that something was still off, that there was more to uncover. A few days later, I received a text from Jake asking how I was doing. I hesitated before responding, unsure of how much to share. Finally, I replied, "I'm hanging in there, just trying to work through some stuff with Mike." Jake replied quickly, "If you need to talk or anything, I'm here for you. I appreciated the offer but felt cautious about revealing too much. I didn't want to drag others into our troubles, especially if Mike was trying to make amends. Still, I found myself wondering how Jake would react if he knew the full story. Later that night, I sat on the couch with Mike, and we watched a movie. I could sense his anxiety as he kept stealing glances at me. I knew he was waiting for me to bring up the conversation we had, but I wasn't ready. Instead, I tried to focus on the screen, but all I could think about was how to rebuild our trust. As the credits rolled, I turned to him. "What do you think we should do moving forward?" I asked, wanting to gauge his thoughts. "I think we need to set some ground rules. Let's check in with each other regularly, no matter how small the issue is," he suggested. "That sounds fair," I replied, feeling a flicker of hope. "But I need you to promise me that if something is bothering you, you'll tell me right away. No more hiding. I promise," he said, his voice steady. As we talked about our future, I began to feel a glimmer of optimism. Maybe we could work through this together. But deep down, I knew that trust was fragile, and it would take time to heal. For now, I was willing to take that journey, one step at a time. As the weeks went by, the atmosphere in our home slowly began to improve, yet an undercurrent of tension remained. Mike made an effort to be more open, sharing little details about his day, and even texting me throughout the day to check in. It was a welcome change, but I still felt the weight of his earlier deception hovering over us. One evening, as I was preparing dinner, I heard Mike come through the front door. "Hey, I'm home," he called out, his voice bright but laced with a hint of nervousness. "Hey, how was your day?" I asked, trying to keep the conversation light. "It was good. I finished that project I was working on," he replied, walking into the kitchen. I could see the pride in his eyes, and for a moment, I felt a rush of affection for him. "That's great. We should celebrate. How about a nice dinner this weekend?" I suggested, trying to focus on something positive. "Sure, that sounds nice," he smiled, but I could tell there was something on his mind. Later that night, as we settled down to watch a movie, I noticed he seemed distant. I decided to address it. "You've been a bit quiet tonight. Is everything okay?" He hesitated, looking down at his hands. "Actually, there's something I need to tell you," he said, his voice barely above a whisper. My heart raced. "What is it?" "I've been thinking a lot about my brother," he began, taking a deep breath. "I want to be honest with you about why I didn't tell you sooner. It's not just embarrassment. I've been struggling with it for years. My family has always been complicated, and I didn't want to drag you into that mess." I felt a mix of compassion and frustration. "Mike, I get that family situations can be difficult, but you could have shared that with me. I'm here to support you." "I know, and I'm sorry," he replied, his eyes pleading for understanding. "I thought if I kept it separate, I could protect you from the chaos. By lying? That only makes it worse," I said, my voice rising. "You can't protect me from everything. I want to be part of your life, even the messy parts." He nodded slowly, tears glistening in his eyes. "I want that too, but I'm afraid of how you'll see me, afraid of making things worse." I reached out to him, taking his hand in mine. "You don't have to be afraid of me. We're a team, remember? We can face the mess together." He squeezed my hand, and for a moment, I felt a flicker of hope. But then, a thought crossed my mind. "Have you been visiting your brother more often than you said? Is there something else going on?" Mike's expression shifted, and I could see the conflict in his eyes. "I haven't been completely honest about that either," he admitted. "I've been going every week, not just once a month. I didn't want to worry you." The revelation hit me like a punch to the gut. "Every week? Why didn't you tell me? That's a significant commitment." "I was afraid you'd think I was prioritizing my brother over you," he said, his voice trembling. "I didn't want to choose between you two." I felt a wave of anger wash over me. "This isn't about choosing. It's about being honest. I can handle knowing what's going on in your life, but I can't deal with being kept in the dark." "I understand," he replied, his voice breaking. "I just thought I could manage it alone. But clearly, I was wrong." The conversation left me feeling drained. I wanted to support him, but the constant revelations of his dishonesty felt heavy. I needed space to process everything, and I decided to take a few days to clear my head. The next morning, I woke up early and went for a long walk. The fresh air helped to calm my racing thoughts. As I walked, I reflected on our relationship. I loved Mike, but I was beginning to realize that love alone wouldn't fix the cracks that had formed between us. When I returned home, Mike was sitting at the kitchen table, looking anxious. "I've been thinking about what you said," he began. "I don't want to keep anything from you anymore. I want us to be honest, even if it's hard." "I appreciate that, Mike," I replied, trying to maintain a calm demeanor. "But this isn't just about being honest now. It's about building trust again. It's going to take time. I'm willing to do whatever it takes," he said earnestly. "I've made mistakes, but I want to fix them. I want you to feel secure with me." His words offered a glimmer of hope, but I still felt uncertain. "I want that too, but I need to see it in action. I need you to show me that you're committed to change." "I will, I promise," he said, his eyes sincere. As we talked, I realized that while we had made progress, the road ahead was still fraught with challenges. Trust doesn't rebuild overnight, and I was starting to understand that healing would require patience from both of us. That evening, I decided to reach out to my friends for support. I texted a few of them, letting them know I was struggling but didn't go into detail. I needed to maintain some boundaries while still getting the emotional support I craved. A few days later, I met up with my friend Lisa for coffee. As we sat in the cozy cafe, I finally opened up about what had been happening. "I just don't know what to do," I confessed, my voice shaking. "I love Mike, but I feel so betrayed." Lisa listened intently, offering her perspective. "It sounds like he's genuinely trying to change, but it's completely valid for you to feel hurt. You need to prioritize your own emotional well-being." Her words resonated with me. I had been so focused on Mike's healing that I had neglected my own feelings. "I know I need to set boundaries, but I'm afraid of what that might mean for us," I admitted. "Setting boundaries doesn't mean you're giving up. It means you're taking care of yourself," she said gently. "You can love him while still protecting your heart." As I sipped my coffee, I felt a sense of clarity wash over me. I needed to find a balance between supporting Mike and taking care of my own emotional health. Our relationship was important to me, but so was my peace of mind. When I returned home, I found Mike waiting for me in the living room. "How was your day?" he asked, his tone hopeful. "It was good. I talked to Lisa," I said, gauging his reaction. "About us?" he asked, a hint of anxiety creeping into his voice. "Yeah, a little. I think I need to take some time to really process everything," I replied carefully. "I want to support you, but I also need to focus on my own feelings." Mike nodded, understanding washing over his face. "I get that. I'll give you the space you need. Just know that I'm here, ready to work on things whenever you are." As I sat there, I felt a mix of sadness and relief. We were both committed to making it work, but the path ahead was still uncertain. I knew I had to take it one day at a time, and for now, that was enough. If you enjoyed the story, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more real-life drama straight from Reddit. Got a take on the situation? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We love hearing from you.